All right, number two, man. We're near the end. Number two, they got to be big, right? They got to be super big from now on. Number two, nobody would ever guess that I would put what's on my number two. Motherfucking John Carpenter's Halloween.
Oh shit!
I'm right there with you. Okay, I get that. Yeah.
First time I saw that movie, I actually saw it in Spanish. It was dubbed, and I saw like half of the movie on TV. I was like 7 or 8. Scared the shit out of me. I didn't know what he was, what this was. Why won't he die? How's he just appear? Whatever, right? After that, I became obsessed with figuring out what Michael Myers was. And as a kid, I couldn't do that, but I always had it in the back of my mind, right? Finally got older, started getting my own movies, whatever. Got into Halloween, and to me, just Halloween is the best horror movie ever made. It spun. I don't think without it we'd have Jason, we'd have Freddy. I don't think we would have a lot of these characters, right? And it's also a perfect example of, less is more. Because a lot of people don't even realize that this movie has no fucking blood in it. Halloween 1 has no blood in it. If it does, it's like little because they didn't have the money for it. You know what I mean? Extremely low budget. It just got re-released into theaters right now, and the shit's selling out for people to go watch that. How the fuck do you do that with the fucking bottom level, low budget movie with some plain ass fool in a blue jumpsuit with a fucking white mask that has nothing to it, right? And to this day, man, it still murders. It still kills. I don't know what it is about this fucking character right here, but I fucking love it. I'm obsessed with it.
It's all about the character, right? It's all about it, man.
And
one of the cool things too is that like they show him in scenes in broad daylight. Just chilling, and it's still terrifying. He's sitting there in broad daylight, just chilling, and it's so creepy, fucking looking. You know what I mean? It's just great, man.
That's one thing that I wanted to say. Like, I think in horror movies when they have day scenes, that's almost fucking scarier.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, when they show a scene in a horror movie where like it's daylight and they're in the house and a door shuts and something moves. In the day, you're like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That kind of fucks you up a little more than when it's night because you expect it at night, right? Same thing with Michael Myers. This fool cruises by in the station wagon. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I don't know.
And what's cool is the mystery of it too, because he doesn't speak, and the way he moves, right? The way he moves, he doesn't move like a human. It's like just his mannerisms, the way he looks, everything about it is slow motion, right? And it's just like creepier somehow because of that. You know what I mean? He's like not chasing you. It's almost like he never loses his cool, right? Whatever the whole time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He's not leather facing the fuck out, right?
No, he's not raging. He's not running after you. He's taking his time, man. He's gonna get you. He's taking his time with it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been in love with Halloween. I think my favorite movie is Halloween 1, but I do think 2 is better. Halloween 2 is the best Halloween. I think it is. I think Halloween 2 is the best. I know that throughout the history of Halloween, though, people have like dogged them, whatever. Yeah, they suck. H2O, Resurrection are trash. Halloween Ends was the worst fucking movie to me. That was not my movie, man. You don't neuter Myers. That just doesn't happen. But Halloween 1, man, all-time great. I still watch the shit out of all the originals to this day. I don't know why I can't stop buying a plain white fucking mask with fucked up hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing to this fucking thing, but look at it. It's just it has this thing to it, this faceless, this like there's no emotion, you know what I mean? And whatever, but Halloween for life, man, and the love never fades, it just grows as time goes on, and that is my number 2, which was hard to not put at number 1.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Right. I'm with you on that one. 10 out of 10, man. Halloween is a classic.
Hell yeah, and that's that the music. I'll say one more thing. Ever since ringtones were available on your phone.
Yeah.
Since they
first put it on there.
Since the first time, all right, they dropped, which remember when that was dope? and it was just like a little like Nintendo sounding fucking bite, whatever. I've had the Halloween theme as my ringtone. Till this day, it's never changed, and it will always be that.
Damn.
You can ask Ash about it.
Yeah,
I
it's
taught
crazy. I thought you changed it already. That's crazy.
hell no. I taught my kids how to play that shit on the piano.
Yeah,
Like
no
I love Halloween, man. That's my thing, man.
shit. Good
Put
shit.
everything there though.
But yeah, hell yeah. All right, let's take it jump steady. Number 2.
This one's gonna be easy. The Star Wars franchise is my number 2.
Number 2. Okay.
We don't have to talk about it. You know what it is, man. Everybody knows what it is. I'm gonna only say 2 things. One, I got to see these movies in the theater, which except for
Damn.
maybe the first. I don't think the first one, but Empire Strikes Back for sure. I saw in the theater when it came out. Return of the Jedi. So blessed to be there, like in the beginning when it was coming out to watch those films. The other thing, I actually looked down on ninjas, and I apologize if you fall in this category. If they're like, I've never seen Star Wars, I've never seen the original Star Wars. And again, I just think people do that because they feel a certain pride being against the grain, like being different. Like I'm not a part of the masses. I've never seen Star Wars. I'm that fresh where I don't have to, I don't have to spend the time. I don't have time to watch that bullshit. I'm too important or something. If somebody tells me I've never seen Star Wars, I look down on them a little bit. Like my opinion of them is what I'm saying.
Right.
Diminishes just like by a point. Like if I thought they were an 8 out of 10 person and then they tell me some bullshit they never watched the original Star Wars, okay, now you're a 7 out of 10 in my eyes. Okay, I don't hate you, but my opinion of you is now diminished. Fuck you. Go watch Star Wars, okay? Quit trying to be alternative. Quit trying to fucking player hate. Just watch that shit. Quit being a bitch. That's all I'm saying.
I do have a question. Who is your favorite character of all time in Star Wars? All time favorite. Gotta pick one.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett for sure.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
No.
He's the one. He got it done, man. He got it done. They gave him a mission. He got it, man. Han Solo got him, captured him, fucking did it, man. Like his tactics, waiting in the trash. He knew what they were trying to pull. He just outsmarts, outwits, and he's a fucking badass. He hardly says any lines. He's got the mask the whole time. You never get to see his face. They killed him in the Boba Fett, the series. He's always without his mask. Somehow now he's a good guy. He was a fucking villain.
That I didn't like.
No, now he's helping people and shit, and he's walking around always with his helmet off. That's why the Mandalorian should have been the Boba Fett series, where he's always got his helmet on and he's a bounty hunter. It should have been about that, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't like what they did with him in the series, but in the movies, especially in Empire Strikes Back, definitely my all-time favorite character.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
All right, Ash.
All right, man. My number 2, it was fucking easy, man. We already talked about it. Rocky, of course.
Okay.
And, like I really like those movies a lot. Fucking Rocky 1 though, I just can't say enough about it, man. It's the fucking whole feeling to it, you know what I mean? But I want to talk about the game real quick, the VR game. I don't know if you guys played that shit, but the first time I put it on, I had my daughter, she was like 3. And it's like I probably look like a fucking moron because I have this thing on my fucking face and she's just watching me, right? I'm ready to throw blows and shit with fucking Rocky. And like you have to walk up to the character at first and touch gloves. So I was doing like this, bro. Like, like you're there. So anyways, I was like, fuck, this is cool. I hit the gloves or whatever. And when he rushes me, bro, like it felt like a real fight at first. Like the first time it feels straight, you know what I mean? And my daughter was just all scared and shit. I'm over here throwing blows and shit. It's a good game, man. But it was just cool to see the characters right there face to face on you. You know what I mean? You finding them and shit. It's a good game. But
he called me up about it, and I went and I picked it up the next fucking day, and I was like, I'm doing this shit. I'm fighting fucking Lang. I don't give a fuck. I'm fighting these motherfuckers, right? And it is dope. It is dope because no matter what, you look around and you're in the ring, and you got Mr. T chilling right there, just ready to whoop your ass.
Right, it's crazy.
And the fight don't start till you like touch gloves. so you could chill there for a minute and look around.
That's it.
If you love Rocky, you're gonna love that shit no matter
Yeah.
what.
And one more thing about Rocky, man, the fucking music. The music.
Oh yeah.
The music, it's got a life of its own. You
Oh
know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But and I want to say too that with Bloodsport and Rocky, the reason I love those two movies is because it inspired a lot of real fighters. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
of course, Bloodsport with UFC and shit. So that's why I think those movies are so big. You know what I'm saying? They're huge, and so yeah. But yeah, fuck yeah, man. Go ahead, Manny. Give us your number 2.
Damn, we're Manny's number 2.
My number 2 was easy as hell. It was no thought process in it. You know what I'm saying? I had to go with fucking Scarface, bro.
Shit.
Scarface,
yeah.
living in the
Yeah.
hood. You living in the hood, bro. Scarface is like I don't even know how to consider it to somebody who didn't live in the hood because I don't really know, but I guess I consider it to like Barney or something. You know what I'm saying? You watch that movie. Your parents, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get a chance because I was too young when it came out. And the same thing when it came out on Laserdisc, we
Right.
didn't have one, but my mom and dad's friend had one. But they were like, "No, you can't see that." You know what I'm saying? I can't let you watch that. You know what I'm saying? But then when it came out on HBO, I was all in. You know what I'm saying? So I sat there and was just I couldn't stop watching. I was just like, holy shit, man. Like, wow. And it became so iconic to all these other gangster movies. You know what I'm saying? The first, like I says, there's been a bunch of times you see Scarface pics in the back of all these gangster movies, like Empire and this and that, but like the New Jack City. You know what I'm saying? With another Wesley Snipes movie.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Always watching Scarface, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I says, it's just, from the beginning to the end. And I like, how it shows you how you struggle for your come up, how you play the game, and it don't necessarily have to be the dope game. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
You just get your hustle on and you take care of it. But if you choose to go down the wrong path, you see how you end up. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't die a martyr, you don't die a hero. You know what I'm saying? You die shot the fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. But I mean, and that end scene was like crazy. You know what I'm saying? That final scene when they start shooting at him in his office and everything, bro. I mean,
Manny,
it was iconic.
I have a crazy uncle, right? Who used to be even crazier. And I fucking had the greatest idea to fucking show him Scarface. Okay? One of the biggest fucking mistakes I ever made in my life. That motherfucker changed. And now he's slurring English words that he doesn't even know what the fuck he's saying. But Tony Montana said them, so he don't give a fuck.
Yeah, bro.
He's at a bar. He's at a bar talking shit to somebody, right? Saying Tony Montana lines, not even know what the fuck they are, but he's still talking shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're just like, Jesus Christ, why the fuck did we show him this movie? It just made him 10 times worse.
Yeah, bro. Like, holy shit, man. It was bad.
But no, hell yeah. I'm with Scarface, man. I think that movie
When did Scarface come out? Like, what year was it? Do you remember?
80.
I just know it was in the 80s, early 80s.
Early 80s? Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
So
like
let me
80? No? Is that too early?
I don't even know.
I think
let
it
me
was
tell you.
Let's ask Ash. Ash, when did Scarface come out?
I don't give a fuck. I don't know. I don't know, man. It was in 70s. It looks like more of a late 70s movie, doesn't it?
But is it a time period movie, or is that really legit what it was like when the movie was filmed?
I think that's what it was like when the movie was
Really?
filmed because the Porsche, the Porsche 911 that he bought, you know what I'm saying? and the clothes and stuff in Miami that they were wearing at the time, and how the Coke game was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want to say,
So you think that movie was made during its time? It's
I
not.
think,
It's
yeah,
not a.
I
It's not a
wanna
time
say-
period movie.
I
think
want to
you're
say
right.
early
Oh
80s.
fuck! I
and
never
maybe
thought about that.
84, 85, because I was young. I know for a fact because I was young. I was real young when it came out. I was like 11, 12. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 13. But I wasn't even in junior high school yet. You know, I couldn't watch that movie. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna remake it, and the chainsaw's electric now.
I don't know. They were supposed to remake it, and I heard that Leonardo DiCaprio was supposed to play Tony Montana.
Nah, man, it's Diego Luna.
So that's what you said. Then you heard something different. You know what I mean?
It's the fool
But
from Star Wars, from
You know
Rogue
what I mean?
One.
They can't use Diego Luna. He's fucking.
Which, by the way, hold up. We didn't say this, but Rogue One is a fucking dope fucking movie. I don't know what Jump Steady thinks about it.
What's it called?
Star Wars Rogue One.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah, that was good. That was decent.
That shit was like a lost
of the of the modern like Star Wars movies, I thought that was solid.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I love
But
I
yeah,
love how everybody dies at the end of it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like there aren't too many movies where everybody dies at the end, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, that's my number 2, man. Scarface, man.
Yeah.
So KFC.
So Scarface, hold up. Scarface came out in 83. I just want a quick story of this one.
Damn.
So
Okay.
when I was in the Gulf War, we were in the middle of the desert and we had a tent set up that had a TV, like one of those box TV sets, and we had a VHS player in it. We had 2 movies and that was it. One was Scarface and the other was War of the Roses. So I watched both of those movies so many fucking times, you know, because it was what is there to do during your off time? You're in the middle of a fucking desert. There's literally nothing to do. So everyone would go into that room, we watch it over and over again. And I had a theory that they let us have those movies because they're both so violent. So it like when you watch them, it enrages you almost, like it almost inspires you to violence, right? You feel your blood like boiling and you're ready to just kill shit, you know? So I almost looked at it as like they were programming us with those movies. Anyway, that's the only reason it's not in my top 10, probably because I've seen it so many fucking times. That and it's one of those movies you can watch over and over and over again.
Right.
But the way I was watching it was like pretty much every day I watched it for like 100 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of it, I just like I'm kind of now when I think back on it, it is a little played out to me, just how many times I've watched it, you know, so repetitively, you know. So that's the only reason it didn't make my top 10. But I love that film. It's in my top 100.
Okay. All right, guys, here we go.
We've reached the top. We've reached the top. All right, number one. Number one, this movie actually like did change my life. Like, you know, I don't know what it did to me, but it really like it was a movie that I would see a lot of things of it in like magazines, comic book ads and shit like that, right? And well, it was back in the day, you know, VHSs were pricey. We couldn't afford them. So we had if the movie didn't come out on TV, we didn't fucking watch it, right? Unless they took us out to rent it. But every time we try to rent some, my mom would smack us in the face. Like, you know what I mean? But I remember I saw that this movie was going to get played on this channel and I was like, dope. I got to remember that. You know, for those motherfuckers nowadays, it was like a meeting. If you wanted to watch some, you got to get that time right. You got to show up, turn that TV on, and chill, right? I remember we were outside. I think we were playing like football or some shit. And I remembered, oh, fuck, today that movie's showing. So I looked at the clock, whatever, took off home. I only caught half of the movie, the end or whatever. The end of it just fucking took me, man. From the visuals, the characters, the lines, everything about this movie, right? And there's one thing that attracted me to this movie like a motherfucker. that was the main reason I was there for it, right? But after this, I watched half. Just off that half, I was obsessed for the next 6 months, and then I finally got to see the whole fucking movie. Right? It might have been longer than that, right, Ash?
Yeah, dude,
So I was obsessed with half of this fucking movie. I had never even seen the first half, right? And it just
Oh, man.
everything like I looked at it different, whatever. I finally saw the whole movie and it was even fucking better than what I thought. Right? I was like, holy shit, this is the fucking movie of all fucking movies. Like, this is it. I don't think I'll ever love a movie as much as I love that one. And it's The Crow.
Fuck yeah, man.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
The
Bruce
Crow.
Lee's son, Brandon Lee.
Hell yeah. And that's why I
Set
was
in
there.
Detroit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, set in Detroit. Yeah.
That's why I was there for Brandon Lee. You know what I'm saying? Because we love
Yeah.
Showdown Little Tokyo and all that other shit, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I mean, we
no
never
doubt.
saw The Crow, right, Ash? Never saw it. I would
Yes.
look into like magazines and comics and see like there was figures of this character, there was this or that. I was like, I wonder what the fuck this movie's about. I'm telling you, that after that, I just completely changed. You know what I mean? I stopped trying to front. Like I would hide. I would always hide. Like back in the day growing up, it wasn't cool if you were hanging out with the gangbangers, but you liked bumping Nirvana type shit, right? Like I had to like hide. I had to hide my comic book side. I had to do that because that shit wasn't cool, right?
Mhm.
After watching The Crow, I didn't give a fuck anymore. I was like, what? Do you
Mhm.
know what I mean? I was like, fuck you guys. I like Wolverine, motherfucker. Like, I like this shit.
Yeah.
I like bumping rock music. It ain't just about fucking gangster rap and whatever. Like, that movie really changed everything. It brought out like a whole different person out of me. I
Mhm.
did have the honor to meet the creator of The Crow, and I got him to do like a sketch and
Oh,
sign
wow.
that shit, which
Okay.
I never fucking paid for that in my life. But him, I was like, I got to, because your
Yeah.
movie, your
Right.
creation, it's not his movie, but his creation changed me forever,
Mhm.
right? But to me, The Crow, I could rewatch that any time of the day. I know it line by line. I know all the characters. The look of the Crow never gets old to me. I get on Google sometimes because I want to draw him, and I find the same fucking pictures that I've been looking at since I was 12 years old till now, and I still don't get tired of it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I find Crow merch. I find figures. I always love them. I love the Crow. It's like top level shit. I don't think Sting would have got half my love if his fucking face paint looked like the Crow. But yeah, The Crow is my top level number
yeah.
one favorite movie of all fucking time. Love
Yeah.
The Crow.
So you know that scene where he's looking out on the Detroit and it's all on fire. They saw those little fires all at night and
Yep.
shit like that. I was alive when that. I mean, that's how it looked. Detroit used to be like that during Devil's
Yeah.
Night. It's the night
Well,
before Halloween.
right.
They would go out and everybody would just set fire to mad fucking buildings and shit. So the whole city would be burning. It's not like that anymore because they always do like the neighborhood patrols at night and shit. It's like a lot more enforced. But back then, man, it was like that. That's like a legit fucking scene. He's looking out and it just looks like there's a war going on. You
Damn,
see
that's
the whole city,
crazy.
the whole city burning and shit, you know. Also, Brandon Lee died during the making of The
Yeah.
Crow, right? That's the film he
Yep.
died in.
Right.
Yep.
It was like they had the blank gun had a
Right.
piece of metal in it or whatever, discharged and actually killed them. So that even makes like the whole story of that movie even deeper or more
Right.
meaningful almost, like because that main actor died during the making of it, but they were able to finish it. They got it all in before he died.
Easy, man.
Have
Yeah.
you seen by any chance? Because some of the scenes were finished with the mask they made of him,
Yeah.
and the stunt double had to
Oh
wear it. And I guess
no, I didn't know that. I didn't
everyone
know
was
that.
very fucking uncomfortable with it because the mask was so lifelike, and they all thought it was fucked up.
Oh,
That they were still finishing the movie while this guy just died a week ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever.
right.
Like,
Okay. No, I
if
didn't
you
know
ever
that.
see pictures of it or whatever, it is fucking weird as fuck to look at, right, Ash? You're just like,
Mhm.
what the fuck, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But man, I'm telling you, I don't know. I love The Crow. It ain't never fading, man. That's my movie. That's my number.
It's a 10 out of 10, man. That's a great
Hell
film.
yeah. The lines, the characters, the music. You know what I'm saying? The music
Yeah.
in that. Every time I go anywhere and they have the soundtrack or the score to that one or the second one, I just buy it. I'm not lying. I have a stack of those CDs. of the
Mhm.
Crow soundtrack. I don't know
Right.
why.
I got a couple too.
I don't know why. I just have to. I'm like, you know what? My respects and my props. I'm buying this shit. You know what I mean? But
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a great story too, because he's out for revenge, man. He's back from the fucking dead,
Hell
out
yeah.
for revenge, and he can't be killed. You know what I mean?
right.
It's like you wish that could be you. Like if somebody did that to you, you know, your family, you could
Fuck yeah.
just like come back and wreck shop as this demon, basically, you know, back from the dead. Like, you know what I
One
mean?
one thing that like, unless you're like a fucking Crow nerd like me, if you ever dive into like the books, the comics, and all that shit, like Eric Draven is just like a 5 issue. And then there's another guy, and then there's another character. There's also females. There's a bunch of different crows that the crow brings back. And once you start diving into that, you really start falling in love with the crow, because you're like, bro, it could be anybody at any time. You know what I mean? The last
Right.
story I read, it was a guy from the Holocaust camp
Oh shit.
that they killed or whatever. And then he comes back and he starts fucking up these Nazis. And I'm telling you, you get into all these stories and you're like, bro, the crow is forever. It can go on forever. And this is just the shit. You know what I mean? But that's a nerd like me, man. I get it. Like, you motherfucker, you're diving way too hard into the crow. But I
No,
love it, man.
good.
And they all have like their different versions of the paint, which is dope.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's
My
cool.
favorite part is the heel, the main heel.
Yeah,
You
top
know what
dollar.
I'm saying? And his voice.
Yeah.
His voice, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that dude was in Aliens Resurrection.
Yep.
Alien Resurrection, when him and Winona Ryder and them, and they had cloned Ripley and this and that. But anyways, I was like, I know that voice. I know that voice. And I was like, that's the fucking heel from the Crow, man.
Oh.
And then my favorite part from the Crow is when the heel is like, go, 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 go.
Oh, yeah, it's all
Yeah.
I
Hell yeah,
just
man.
like,
Hell yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that's some fucking deep shit, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, no, seriously, man, a 10 out of 10. And again, you know, rest in peace, Brandon Lee.
Fuck
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
And just in case you didn't know, like, the story came through because somebody killed his wife, the real guy, James O'Barr,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't know how the fuck to deal with it, so he wrote a story on what
Oh,
he
wow.
would do.
I
And
know.
the story
wow.
the story that came out was that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
And-
he wanted to be that character, basically.
Yeah, he wanted
you
to
know?
be that to avenge his wife and shit like that. Like, that's how he
Right.
came about that story. So it's even, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, I love The Crow. I'm a fucking Crow nerd. Like, I could go on forever, but The Crow is definitely my number one movie that changed me forever, you know?
Fuck yeah, man.
Oh,
Okay.
that's awesome. That's a worthy number one pick for sure.
Fuck yeah.
All right, is it my turn?
Oh,
Eddie.
shit.
Third.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Let's see what Jump Steady's got number one.
All right, this movie, I'm gonna try to keep it brief. I talk about this movie to everybody all the time, trying to turn people on to it. You probably never seen it. I doubt anybody's seen it. I'll be shocked if you've seen it. But my number 2 movie, right, was Star Wars. If Star Wars was like here, this movie is like here.
Man, what the fuck?
So all the other movies that I've listed, they're all down fucking here compared to this movie.
Compare to that
This
movie.
compared to the movie I'm about to tell you, it's just resonated with me on such a deep personal core. What this movie, the story that it's trying to portray, the characters, what this movie is trying to instill upon you as you watch it, just resonates with me to my core. Right? It's a 1954 movie,
Oh, shit.
black and white,
Shit.
directed by Akira Kurosawa, who is considered by many to be the greatest movie director
I
of the
think I know what it
world,
is.
Yeah,
of all time. All right. And this is his masterpiece. Out of all the movies that he made, this is considered the best movie. It is highly regarded as one of the greatest movies ever made in the world. Okay. And if you read any book that lists like top 100 movies ever made, it's usually in the top 10 of that list. I'm
Mhm.
talking about Seven
Yep.
Samurai.
I knew it. I knew it.
Okay. It's subtitled. It's about 3 hours long. When I watch this movie, it's usually an event. Okay. If I watch it about once a year. Lights off, phones off, just totally engrossed into it. I periodically have showings of this movie where I'll bring friends together, especially if they've never seen it.
Mhm.
And I tell them, man, I said, don't talk during this movie. If you're gonna come over here, I'm gonna be an ass about this. Your phone has to be off, like you to watch it. You really got to get engrossed in this. This is the movie that I broke up with that girl that I was kicking it with when I was in the army.
Hell
I
yeah.
was like, it's over. You're not enjoying this. Forget it. We're
shit.
too far apart. There's no point in kicking it anymore. Um, this movie is about I'm gonna just describe it, the premise of it, but it's so deep into character development. It's so rich. You love these characters, all of them. At
Right.
the end of the film, you're in love with each one of these characters. They're so well developed and just so beautifully written and acted to a superb, supreme level. This movie is the greatest film of all time. And fuck Gone with the Wind. Like this movie is the greatest film of all time. And it's about a group of peasants that basically get ranted by bandits during harvest time each year, and they're getting tired of it because the bandits come in, they steal all their food, they rape their women, they steal some of the women, they rob them of everything they have. They're tired of it, so they finally decide they're going to hire a group of samurais to protect their village, but they have no money to pay them. All they got is rice,
Oh
and they
shit.
go out trying to procure these Rowan, these wandering samurai that have no masters. It's during a certain period of Japan, and they basically get them. The old man. They're talking with the old wise man of the village, and they're like, "Well, how are we going to do it? All we have is rice." And the old man says, "Then find hungry samurai," and he sends his villagers out, and these samurai that ultimately come together, they do it because they realize these people are suffering and they're being oppressed and they're not strong enough to defend themselves, and they do it for honor, they do it for integrity, they do it for a wonderful cause where they're going to risk their life for others with no fucking pay. Okay. And it just I can't I can sit there and tell you all the parts of all the lines, all the scenes of why this movie is so great. I'll just tell you one. I don't even know if I'm going to do it justice. There's one of the samurai. He's obsessed with being a master of the blade. Like that's all he wants is to hone his craft, his talent of killing and the wielding of the blade. And so in this scene, he ultimately joins the Seven Samurai only to engage in combat to further the craft of his blade, right?
Nice.
And so they see him standing in a field, and he's facing off with the samurai. And in the scene, they're literally staring at each other for like 3 minutes without moving, just looking. And it's just like this wide panel shot. And that's what samurais used to do because whenever they engaged in real life, if you read anything about samurai, there's a psychic duel that takes place before swords are even crossed, where they're trying to psych out their opponent. Anyway, so then there's a quick flash of the blade, and the one dude, the master swordsman, his opponent has his blade on his neck, right? And he's got his blade down to the ground. They're actually wooden swords. They're practicing. They're doing a mock duel, right? And he's got his sword on the ground, and the guy pulls back, and the master swordsman looks at him, and he's like, "You've lost." Even though he had the blade, on his neck, right? It was resting on his neck. And the guy's like, "Preposterous, you lost. What are you talking about?" And he's like, "You lost." And so the guy reaches for a real sword. And the master swordsman's just looking at him. He's like, "It's no good. You'll throw your life away." And the guy, he doesn't care. He fucking goes into the stance. So then he pulls out his real sword. Same scene reenacted. This time there's a flash of blade. The master swordsman gets a small cut across his neck, and he cleaves him fucking down in the middle, total gash across his
Oh,
chest, and
geez.
kills him. You know what I mean? But the
Yeah.
whole scene, the way it plays out, Kira Kurosawa took his filming, how he paid particular attention to stuff always had to be in the foreground and in the background, like the depth of it. He was the first director that really paid attention to that, where there could be like a hut burning in the fucking distance with smoke billowing into the cloud. Meanwhile, these actors are in the scene in the foreground acting out their scene, but you see this shit moving, stuff happening in the background. He was a master of that, and he portrays it so wonderfully in this film. There's so many beautiful sweeping shots of like just masterfulness. And every director, even modern directors now, they all attribute Akira Kurosawa's techniques. They all study it in school, right? It's like a
Yeah.
prerequisite. Like they're learning from
It's masterful.
yeah, his master style of direction and how he filled the scenes and everything. Listen, of all these films that are mentioned here today, I beg you to watch this film. I beg you to do it. And you cannot do it with any distractions. You have to fully commit yourself to just really get into this. And I pray that it affects you like it did me, because this film has enriched my life. It made me want to be a person of honor. Like I
Right.
try to live my whole life with honor as my main principle. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Doing the right thing, doing the courageous thing, not faltering because of fear or anger or greed, like staying on the path and being a righteous human being and a righteous person, and being without fear, and being able to stand up against evil and oppression where
Mhm.
you see it. And it just makes me want to be a samurai, and
Yeah.
more so than that, I always felt like in a past life, I don't know if I was a samurai, but in a past life, I feel like I was at one point living in Japan, probably Japanese, living in Japan. I appreciate, and I've always resonated with the history of Japan and the
My
people of Japan, and being able to travel to Japan and seeing it from it was my favorite place in the world. This movie speaks to me in volumes, right?
That's the shit.
And you will love. I feel like if you watch this and give it a chance, I just hope you love this film the way I do, because it is the greatest film of all time.
the
Seven Samurai, number one.
the this is so crazy as hell because I just got done like a week ago explaining this movie to somebody, and I was
Mhm.
just telling them like this is one of the best fucking stories ever fucking written like on paper.
Right.
Like if you don't know
Right.
what the fuck this is, I was like, and
Mhm.
so much has taken from it down to a bug's life, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
much
Right.
has taken
100%. Yeah.
from it, and like
Yeah.
you could watch different shit and see like Seven Samurai, Seven Samurai. I remember I brought it home and Ash was watching it too.
Mhm.
Do you remember that shit,
Yeah.
Ash?
Yeah.
It definitely is like one of the best fucking movies I've ever seen. The whole thing that you're saying with the honor, that's one of my
Mhm.
favorite things about like Japanese samurai culture. It
Yeah. Yeah.
does feel like that when you watch that, and it does change you. You know what I mean?
He it's
I
got one of the it's got one of the best endings too, because it's so deep, like the story of it, because he's talking to the young kid, the want he wants to be a samurai, and he wants the main samurai. He wants him to take him under his wing and train him, and he's like, you don't want to follow me because I've been in countless battles and I lost every one. He's like, I've lost every one. And so later, the last scene of the film, you see the hilltop with all the graves and the swords stuck in the graves. And he turns back to that kid and he says, it's like I told you, I've been in many battles and I've lost every one. It doesn't matter that they won. It's the
Mhm.
sacrifice, the
Yep.
payment, the friends that you had to lose in that battle. And someone that's been in a war, maybe this movie like
Mhm.
means more than others, because I've lost friends in a war, and
Yeah.
maybe that's another reason why it's so impactful to me. But it's so dope. The whole journey, the story of this, like you feel your heart break with each death in the movie. Like it just totally, you're all in on this movie. Like you love these characters. You don't want to see anything happen to these characters. And it's just so beautiful. Like it's beautiful. I
Um,
can't say that about any other film.
I
You know?
think the fact that the movie's black and white makes it even better. It
No,
really
I agree.
it really gives it that feeling of the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
100%.
like that it's black and white. That's one of those that you want that way. Do you know what I mean? Like say
Yeah.
they remastered
Oh,
it
yeah.
in color. Yeah, that'd be dope. But black and white gives it that flow, gives it that feeling of that. But yeah, I've always said it to anyone I meet. I'm in shock they've never seen the Seven Samurai or even heard of the story. Like
Yeah.
even if you haven't seen the movie, you heard the story, right? You know what. I'm always in shock when people are like, "No, I don't know what the fuck that is," you know. But I'm
A
telling
lot
you,
of people,
this
a
is
lot of people
crazy.
have never seen it.
I just
Yeah.
got done like a week ago explaining this shit to somebody because I was like, "What the fuck do you mean you haven't seen this shit?" You know. But yeah,
So there's like I could talk about this movie for hours, but there's a scene in there where they're talking about their strategy right against the bandits because they're up against a superior force, and they utilize all the peasants and they give them long spears and they utilize them as a wall on the front. They block off all the entrances into the village except for the main one. There's a main road where they suspect they're going to come down, and they don't create the blockade, right? They don't create the blockade. They just have a wall of the villagers with long spears, and they explain how when the enemy first comes charging in, to open up the gate of the wall of spears, if you will, let a few in and then close it, right, and block the rest. The ones that get in, they have their best samurais inside the village to dispatch them as they get in. So they only have to fight like a couple at a time and slowly start weaning down their numbers. I cannot tell you how often I've used that strategy. Like I'm a board gamer, like tactical
Yeah.
board games and all that.
that's fucking
I
awesome.
utilize that
is-
strategy all the fucking time that I took from Seven Samurai. You got to let them in. You got to create an opening to let some of them in. You can't fight them all at the same time, and you can't keep them all out because it's going to break at some point. They're going to break your wall, right? So you let them in a few at a time. The strategy is solid and it works. So
Good
like
shit.
I've always wondered, like, did they take that from like actual samurai, like, written works or whatever, like,
Probably.
war strategy? Like, where did they even come up with that? Because it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they probably.
That's it.
So
We
yeah,
used to play this game called Command and Conquer. Do you remember that,
okay.
Ash?
Yeah.
I used to take all my strategies from samurai movies and stories and books and shit.
Right.
That's
Right.
how I would set up. I'd be like,
It
fuck that.
works.
Today I'm gonna do the mountain, right? And
Right.
I'll sit there and use the strategies and all. So that's
Yeah.
fucking funny as hell to hear, you know. And
Do
they
you
work,
remember
right?
the Do you remember that scene in the Seven Samurai where they're trying to test samurai, right? So they're pulling them off the road, and the main guy tells the kid, stand by the door with the club. As soon as they come in, hit him over the head with the club, right?
Right.
So the first samurai comes in and he starts walking toward the door, and he walks into the door and the kid tries to club him. He grabs the club and he like flips him. You know what I mean? And then the old guy gets up. He's like, good. Like they just wanted to test them to see if they had the skills. You know what I mean? And then the second one comes walking up and he stops short of the door. He just sensed the guy was on the other side of the door, and he's like, good trick. You know what I mean? It's just dope, man. There's so many moments like that in the film where you're just like, this is so cool, man. Like every fucking scene is just gold. Like there's no downside to the film. And over again, you just get schooled. And there's humor in it. There's everything. There's a slight romance in it.
Right.
The
But
humor in
more,
it is the shit. I love the
yeah,
humor.
but more so than not, you're just invested in the characters and you don't want to see them die. You care about the outcome so much,
Right.
and every time you watch it, you just somehow you're praying for a different outcome. Like, right? You know what the outcome is. You've seen the movie 100 times, but you're just like,
Damn.
maybe this time it'll be different.
How long is that movie? Trying to remember.
that's all together is 207 minutes.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's
It's
pretty
long.
It's a
It's
long
over
ass
3
movie.
hours.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
over
it's
3
over
hours
3
if
hours.
you haven't seen it. It's a long ass movie.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
I mean,
but you're good with it though. Like it's no downside. It flies by. You know.
Yeah, good shit, man.
Anyway, that's my number one pick.
Good
Seven
shit.
Samurai. Fucking watch it. Like, just take the
That-
time and watch it, man.
so
Right.
far we
Such a
got The
great
Crow and Seven Samurai, man. To me, that's fucking top level shit.
Yeah, man, and I know
Yeah.
it's crazy watch. I think it's a watch because my number one, bro, you know what I mean? Like it changed my fucking life too, you know what I mean? And like even with people, when I meet people and I kind of figure them out, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I think this person will like this movie. I tell them, bro, go watch this movie and it'll change your life. And it's happened. They're like, dude, what the fuck? It was as good. I
What
know
did you
that-
give me?
Huh?
No, they're like, what did you give me that one night?
No, seriously, bro. But it's The Crow. It's also The
The
Crow.
Crow.
Like, bro, when I watched that movie, I grew my hair out. We fucking bought trench coats, huh?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
telling you.
all black.
Telling you.
You know what I'm
I remember I told him, bro, I just watched this fucking movie. It's the greatest shit I've ever seen in my life. And he, what is it? I was, it's the one with Brandon Lee where he paints his face and shit. It's fucking dope. He's in all black, whatever. And then we finally were able to get it, which was the first time I saw it full, was the first time he saw it.
Yeah. And you know what, man? The Crow's a good love movie. Like, it's a love story, right?
Yeah.
You know? That's why I like it too a lot, man. It's good shit, man.
He keeps his vow in it.
Yeah.
Do you
know what I
know
mean?
there's a board game, the Crow board game, where
Yeah.
you wear that?
No,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
played it. I played the board game too. It's pretty
Is
good.
it any good?
Is it?
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
But
you get to play the Crow in the board game.
Is it entry level, mid level?
I'd say it's a board game. It's a gamer's game. Like it's not
game-
an easy game. Yeah, it's
not an
a
easy game.
more advanced game.
More
Yeah.
advanced.
It's a heavy game, if you will, a meaty game. So
yeah, man. I mean, we already talked a lot about The Crow, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hand it over to Val Venus.
Yeah.
Val Venus. Oh, damn, Manny. That one came hard.
This is
I don't think he's gonna forgive you for that one.
my number one, bro. It's got a lot to do, and it was actually heavy. My tattoo. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm gonna try this. Can you
Right.
see it?
I see Darth Vader. Is that what you're trying to show?
Yeah, because it's a samurai Darth Vader.
Okay. So check it out. The reason why I went with this is one, because I love Star Wars. I love
Right.
Darth Vader is my favorite character. But two, there's a reason why I made it a samurai. I was rolling with Jump Steady when we were going to Ballers on a Boat. And that's the first conversation we really got to start knowing each other. And we started talking about movies. And I was like, fuck, bro, I love movies. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. So we started exchanging movies, trying to see where each other's head was at, this and that. And we had a lot of movies that we liked in common and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he told me about this one movie that he really, really liked. That he said he's kicked friends out of his house whose phones went off and this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was just like, hey, for real, serious like that? He's like, yeah, bro, you really got to pay attention to this movie. It's not in English, it's subtitles, this and that. So I was like, well, what is it? And he's like, it's called Seven Samurai. And I was like, all right.
Hold the fuck up.
Yeah, crazy. That's why I said.
The fuck up.
I swear to God. So as he's telling me this story, I was like, damn, man. I said, it sounds real familiar, like The Magnificent Seven, which is the American
It's a
version.
Western. It's a Western based off of Seven Samurai. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a Western. And they remade it. And the last time they made it, Denzel Washington was the main character that got this group of guys together. And it's the same thing. It's based exactly off of Seven Samurai. Each samurai has their own little quirks. You know what I'm saying? And their own little backstory that you end up feeling out as you're paying attention to the show. You know what I mean? And that's why it's important that you pay attention to the show because you know what I'm saying?
That's
You
one of
gotta-
my favorite parts of the movie. Is you have to build up that character, so you got to
Exactly.
know,
So then
and
you
that's
understand
what builds
why
the
this
love for
character
him.
is that way. And you're like, oh, all right, now I get it, you know, and this explains why later on this happens and whatever. So I watched that movie, man, and it seriously, it hit me in the face like a ton of bricks, bro. It was like just like my other tattoo with the Aztec warrior.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I wanted something on this arm, and I know I wanted Darth Vader, but I wanted it to mean something. And I came up across some different artwork of a samurai. And just like Jump Steady said, man, because it's got something to do with honor. Is you know what I'm saying? And responsibility. And basically being a man. I mean, I'm not trying to be chauvinistic or nothing like that, but about
Sure, Manny.
keeping your word. You know what I mean? And so the young lady, my artist, she made the combination and she came up with the design. I didn't even see it. I just let her do her thing. And then when I finally saw it afterwards, and I put the pictures, went on Instagram, everybody was just like, holy shit, this and that. Then I took some pictures, she sent them to me, and then I finally got a chance to see it. And I was just like, oh my God, like, this is fucking amazing. This is beautiful work. And a lot of people asked me, they were like, why a samurai? You know what I'm saying? Darth Vader. And I'm like, honestly, it's because of this movie one of my really good friends told me about. And it's a deep movie, man. It's very, very it's a moving movie. If you understand what that means, keeping it simple, is if you pay attention and you watch the movie, to watch the movie with the open mind, you'll get so much out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that powerful of a movie, and you don't mind that it. You know, when it's over, you're like, man, I didn't give a shit that it was in subtitles.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or different language, whatever. And it was just like you can sort of see yourself in certain characters.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what was so deep. And I don't know when exactly I told Jump that I finally got a chance to watch it because I had a hard time trying to find it. Because it would on my Fire Stick app, this and that. I was just like, bro, I can't find this movie. So finally I found it and I watched that bitch and I was just like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, holy shit. Excuse my language, you know what I'm saying? But I was just like, wow. Like, wow. I was speechless. You know what I'm saying? So then the next time I got a chance to get with Jump and we had some time, I told him, I was like, bro, real talk, thank you. Thank you for telling me about that movie.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, that movie was the shit. Like it's awesome. I can't speak more about it than Jump did. You know what I'm saying? But like seriously, if you want to watch a powerful movie that makes you think about things and just about helping other people and like it says, being a person of your word and giving it 110%. You know what I'm saying? Basically for nothing, because like you says, the villagers didn't have no money. You know what I'm saying? They had food and they had their friendship that they were trying to provide. They were trying to bring them water when they were digging the trenches and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just like they did as best as they could with what they had, and the samurai appreciated that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even the main samurai, the first one that they tried to hire, he wasn't gonna do it at first until he's seen that the villagers were eating millet, which is like a nasty fucking like just garbage basically. They were eating millet and saving the rice to try to get, pay for the samurai services because that's all they could do is pay them in rice. But they're eating garbage, and when he's seen them eating the garbage, because he realized they were going all out and trying to give everything they had, you know what I mean, to pay them, and once he's seen that, he was like, all right, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. I'm gonna help you guys. You know what I mean? Because you're going all out. And there, one other scene I want to point out. It's just I don't know. It's so deep. Like every scene is so rich. It's like trying to convey something. Like there's that scene where the young kid comes running in because he saw the bandit scouts, and he's all excited. He's all worked up. He's like, "They're here! They're here! I just seen them over here on the north side of the fence," And he's all worked up. And all of a sudden, you see the other samurai come in, just calm and collect. And he's like, yeah, they're over there by the north gate, and you're just seeing the differences. Like here's the veteran, the one that is, seen battles, seen war, and he's just like, he's experienced, you know what I mean? And he's not going to panic. He's not going to let anything panic him. He's got that coolness of the fire. And here's the young kid all worked up and spazzed out, you know what I mean? But you want to be the veteran, right? You want to be that guy that's just calm and collect in the face of danger. Is just like, you can rely on and lean on even, in a wartime situation. Anyway, I love that film, man. Like, and I'm glad that's your number one, right? Seven Samurai.
Yep. That's my
That's
number
dope.
one, brother. That's my number
Dope.
one.
Back to back, Seven Samurais and The Crow.
The Crow, right? Isn't that crazy?
There you go.
Now we gotta have like get together and we gotta watch The Crow and Seven Samurai.
I'm down, bro. I'm down.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're
am
down,
down.
man.
That was completely unplanned. That's crazy. We ended up like that.
Yeah.
Samurai.
Right. That's awesome.
Seriously.
That's crazy.
That
Yeah.
shit-
I'm glad you got out of it what I got out of it though, Manny. That means that's
I really
awesome.
didn't think, Manny. I didn't think you were gonna say 7. I'm glad that we ended with you. That's fucking
Yeah.
perfect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like straight up.
I already knew.
Yeah.
I already knew what Jumps was gonna be. I knew it in my heart, and I was like,
Yeah.
I got to. Honestly, that's the first movie I picked for number one, and I was trying to see what else would beat it,
Right.
and I couldn't. I mean, like not even Star Wars, bro. Not even, you know what I'm saying? Not even
Crazy, man.
Scarface. I was like you said, everything was here, and Seven
Yeah.
Samurai is here.
And
You know what I
you
mean?
know what?
Exactly. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Manny's very fucking good at watching movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's a statue, bro. He's there. Like he's fucking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Manny's like, boom.
He watches a lot of movies like me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he's like,
we love the art, you know what I'm saying?
he was like, you want he was like, you want to watch The Purge? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. He's like, the new one? I was like, yeah, I never seen it. He's like, cool. Pops it in, solid.
Solid.
I'm sitting there like, Manny. Like Manny, right? And then he pauses it. What's up? He's like,
I didn't want you to miss something, fool. I was like, hold on, let me hit pause.
I was like,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I was
We're
like,
trying
all right,
to
Manny, I got
disrupt
you
the
on this
movie.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh hell
I
no.
got you on this shit.
Good
I'm telling
man.
you, I want to go to the movie theater with Manny and watch a movie because, man, Manny's good at watching his movies, man. That's how you got to do it. You know what I'm saying?
For
So,
sure, man.
I wanted to say one last thing about the Seven Samurai too, is that like what they do, the mission that they take in that movie, I use this term every once in a while, though I don't totally comprehend it. It's got an importance greater than life, like what they're doing, right? It's like what they're doing, the mission that they do, the willingness to help these people that can't help themselves. It like transcends life. Like it'll carry on into the next world. If you can ever do that for people, stand up, protect people in need, like be there for people in need, be the hero, be the warrior when they can't fight for themselves. Like that has an importance greater than life. You know what I mean? It
Right.
transcends beyond this life into the next. And that's what I think the main thing you get from this movie. It's like what they're doing is it just inspires that in you as a person when you watch this film. You want to inspire to greatness like they've achieved in this film. And
That's-
so yeah, beyond a 10 out of 10, Scoop slams every other movie in my opinion. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. The Seven Samurai.
And The Crow.
And The Crow.
And The Crow.
So,
Yeah.
Dude,
You should have done watch the fucking Crow. You got no
yeah,
reason.
right. Which you know
what I
what?
mean?
Don't get me wrong. I've met a lot of people that are like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Bro, what the fuck is going on here?" You know what I mean? I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Hey,
that?
shout out to Chris and Tox too. If they're watching this, they're friends of mine. That's their all-time favorite movie as well, The Crow.
The Crow, The Crow.
awesome,
Yep.
man.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with The Crow.
Oh
They
hell
bought
yeah!
the board. They brought the board game for me just to,
Hell
just
yeah.
to do it.
Just
And
to
they
do
bought the movie for me too, The Crow. They bought the movie, The Crow, and the board game.
Man,
as a
that's what's
present
up,
for
man.
myself.
God damn.
They love The Crow, man, just like
Yeah,
you
that's-
guys.
That's
Yeah,
that's
They're all
that's
top there.
Well,
it's you know how much we love the movie that he'll hate on me if I get some dope from it instead of congratulating.
oh fuck yeah.
Like I'll be like,
Yeah, I
I'll be
got
like, "Yo, check this out, man! I just got this from The Crow," and he'll be sitting there like,
No, like that one that's sitting right behind him. I'm like, fuck that shit.
Right.
"Oh, over here."
Yeah, I fucking love it. I'm like, fuck this guy, dude.
You should have seen. I was like, "Yo, you got to see what the fuck I just got." And he's like, "What is it?" I take this thing out. I was like, "I finally fucking found one of these because they go for like $500 and shit." And I
Yeah.
finally found somebody who hooked me up with it, and he was just sitting there like, "Man, fuck that." Yeah. But you know what? I respect the hate. I respect the hate.
Man.
Right?
Oh yeah.
But all right, man. This
Yeah,
is-
man, it was a lot of fun.
man.
It was a lot of fun
That's what
going
I was
over
gonna
these
tell you.
movies.
I hope
You know what I
you guys
mean?
enjoyed it. You know what I mean? We spend a lot of time together right now, and I really appreciate your guys'
Oh
time.
hell yeah, man! Same here. Same here.
No?
Much love to all you.
Hell yeah.
You know,
And
this is
and,
fucking
and I
dope.
hope you all got. I know I did. I hope you all wrote down a couple.
No, I did. Yeah.
That everybody out there watching too. I hope they wrote down a couple of these movies because these are all great films, man.
Yes,
Except
I
for
got-
maybe the Vow. We're gonna leave the Vow out of there. But other than that, these are all great films, worthy to check out. And hopefully we
God
bestowed
damn
you upon some gems that y'all didn't know about, and now you can all check out, man.
Oh
I-
shit, man! I didn't want to say nothing about it. About the.
I got the Vow. I got the Vow on my list. I got Shawshank, Tombstone, and War of Arrows.
Yeah. I got the War Arrow.
You know what though? You know what's
Oh.
crazy as fuck? We weren't far apart. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We really weren't.
Right.
We
Oh
really
yeah, the
weren't
type of
far
movies.
apart on the movies.
Look, I want to get the one movie I want to give a shout out to is the Apocalypto. Like
Fuck yeah.
honestly, I know a lot of ninjas out there never fucking watch that film because
Right.
I feel like that's the film that was like heavily slept on. Please watch it. It's
Yeah,
so entertaining.
Definitely.
You know
So
what?
it's riveting. It's riveting.
You know what? With Raza, with us, we couldn't wait to fucking watch that movie. And
Yeah.
when we all
Okay.
did, we got together instantly. Did you watch Apocalypto
Yeah.
yet? Did you watch Apocalypto? we all bought that bitch. You know what I mean? We didn't
Right.
even know
Okay.
it was gonna be
Yeah.
good. We just bought it. We're like, I bought it. I'm buying that bitch, you know. So that's
when
crazy.
when he's running across the film in the beginning and he ducks down behind the body when they all fucking fire their arrows and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh, that was a sweet move. Like, and then they're like, they think he's dead, and they see him rise up, and they're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You're
Hell
just
yeah.
like, man, you already knew, man. You already knew he hit that wood line. He was gone. He hit that jungle. He was gone. And they're like, oh man, they're all pissed off. And he shanked the guy. That's
Yeah.
right. The guy came up to check on the bodies, make sure they were dead.
And he shanked his ass, and you're like,
shanked his
yeah.
ass, see him fall, and then he rises up. You're like, oh, it's on now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
hell yeah. Hell
You're just
yeah.
like, go, run, you know. Oh man, is that
I
shit.
think his name was Jaguar, right?
Yeah, with Jaguar.
Jaguar.
That's right. Yeah.
That was his name,
Yep.
Jaguar.
And for real, man, watch that movie. It's the shit, man. But I hope to hear like from you, Jump Steady. See if you watch those movies that you wrote down and shit. See what you think about them, or I rewatched them,
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
definitely. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'll be
I
hitting.
got a whole list right here.
Yo,
Definitely got to rewatch some of these too.
I
Like,
can't
I've
I
watched
can't
them before.
believe you guys didn't have one horror movie on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was hard, man.
I don't, man. Look, I don't watch horror movies. That's the
But-
one genre I don't like is horror
Yeah.
movies. However,
Yeah.
certain horror movies I really do love, like Evil Dead, the whole Evil Dead franchise, Halloween for sure. Like there's some that I really love, you know, they cross over. But just movies where you're just watching people get tortured and killed, I don't really care for them. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
straight up. Like that's the
Never knew that.
only genre of movie I don't really care for. It's just I just don't like I don't like movies where you feel worse coming out of it than you did going in. And so
you know what?
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're like uncomfortable and just watching people get tortured and shit. Like I just don't like it, man.
I
Never
I
have.
like what you said, but not in the torture way. More of the like, say I go to the movie theater and watch a new horror movie that scared the shit out of me. Like driving home in my head, I'm like,
Oh
I'm
shit.
I'm not gonna sleep straight for like 2 fucking weeks.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this shit ain't going down.
And I do think movies can cross a line. Like they cross a
Oh,
line
yeah.
where I'm like watching a movie and you're seeing some, you know, like a really long rape scene.
Yeah.
Or, you know, a kid's getting killed or tortured. And I fucking get mad at the film. I'm like, I hate this
can't-
fucking film.
I can't stand
they
rape
shouldn't have
scenes in
went there.
movies. I do
Yeah.
not like rape scenes.
Yeah.
No.
The Hills Have
Like
Eyes.
I get it. Like I get it if it's a plot point, like they got to establish somebody got raped, but there's no reason to continue the scene for like 4 minutes, 4 or 5
man.
minutes to show them
Have
get
you
raped.
seen The Hills
You're
Have
like,
Eyes
fuck
too?
this movie. I don't think so. No.
Have you seen that, Manny?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
beginning starts with one that just goes on, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
They
Yeah.
capture women, and the one the head guy, the alpha,
I hate those
has
movies.
sex with them, and tries to get them pregnant so they could get their numbers back
I
up.
fucking hate those movies.
And
I
they
cannot stand The Hills Have Eyes, man. Those can go in the
Yeah.
trash.
He just
Fuck those movies.
pulls the baby out, and then like rips some biblical porn and this and that, and like he don't give a fuck about the chick anymore. It's all about the brand new baby that's gonna be part of their clan.
Yeah, fuck that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just they did it in part one too. They did it in I think this is the director's cut with one of the sisters. It was just crazy, like seriously. And same thing with Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yeah.
He had 2 different versions of how Michael escapes.
Manny,
And, you know, the one is that rape scene, and I'm just like, and it goes on. That rape scene goes on for like 5 or 6 minutes. Jump.
I was at Ash's pad watching I had just bought the fucking re-release of that. Actually I bought a bootleg copy for some dude on a truck stop, to be honest. And I went home, popped it in, and then that scene started, and then my mom came to visit, and that fucking scene was playing. I was like,
oh, fuck
oh.
that, yeah.
I was like, fuck.
No,
You know
no,
what?
there's a John Carpenter film like Prince of Darkness. Like I don't mind horror. Like I consider like Aliens, for example, almost like a horror movie. I don't mind
Yeah.
horror movies if they're done in an intelligent way, where it's like gets you thinking, or you know, like they're fighting this supernatural evil, but you feel like they got a chance to win, like they got tactics they can pull.
Mhm.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street, all those are great films. Like, so I can get into some horror movies. Just you can cross a line in movies where like all you're doing is gonna piss me off and I'm gonna hate the film. You know what I mean? And you can cross lines in films. There's no reason to, but people seem to go there a lot because they want shock value. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
just want to come up with the most sickest, grossest
Right.
shit. you know, and they're constantly like pushing the wire or trying to outdo each other or whatever you want to call it. And so yeah, I don't like movies that just make you uncomfortable and you feel like there's
Right.
nothing you can do. You can't win at all. You have no chance. There's no point in you fighting. You're up against a force that's just gonna kill everybody. I don't like those movies.
I had a homeboy who took a girl out to a date, first date, and this fucking idiot decides to go watch Hostel in theaters with her, and I was like, "You
Right.
stupid son of a!"
That's
I was
right,
like,
yeah.
"What is wrong with you, bro?" Out of all the
Yeah.
fucking movies, he's. I didn't know it was gonna be like that. I was like,
Yeah,
"Dang!"
I think it was gonna be like.
I
You know,
remember when I was like
it was
13. When I was 13, I was watching The Shining, and if you've ever seen that, you know the old
That's a
lady
great
scene.
film. That's a great film. The
You
Shining.
know the
I
old
like
lady
that.
scene.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right when that old lady pops out, my mom walks into the room and asks me if I want anything to eat, and I was like, "It's not what you think, moms. It's not what you think."
Look at this shit.
I was like, "No, wait." I was like,
The
yeah,
The Shining is a great film. Like that's
yeah, it
I
is.
fuck with that.
Fuck
I
yeah.
fuck with that.
It
So
shows the original,
certain
the
horror movies I
original
like.
Amityville horror.
Which one, Manny?
The original Amityville horror.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
The
that's
OG
terrifying.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's terrifying. The guy, the window slams down on his fingers and shit. Oh fuck
Yeah.
that! I'd be out of the house immediately.
Yes. Yes.
Poltergeist,
crazy.
another great classic. Poltergeist, awesome. Like all
Yes.
those films. I love all those films. So yeah, I can get into horror, but lightly. Like it's
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
be a real
You're
good
like me,
film.
man. I don't fuck with it
It's
too
got
much.
to be, yeah, it's got to be a real good film, a real good horror film for me to fuck with it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Otherwise, I hate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me wrap this up, and then so we could, you know what I mean, do our shit,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
Again, this shit was fun, man. It was the shit. I hope everyone enjoyed as much as I did and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking good
Yeah,
shit.
no doubt.
yo,
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
out there listening, drop it in the comments. What's your movies?
Yeah,
Let us
yeah,
know
yeah.
what
Your
of our
10.
top one. What do you think of our 5? What do you think of number 10? You know what I'm saying?
What's your movies and shit too?
Like, let us know.
What you
Let us know
watching?
on that.
No doubt.
All right, man. We'll give
All
a
right,
thumbs up
all right,
if you know
man.
what's up, and give a thumbs down if you're down. Peace.
Yeah.
Talk hitters are shit.